Hey everybody, Taylor Lyles with the Greenville Home Builders Association, and this is the Think Big podcast. Good morning and welcome to the newest episode of the Think Big podcast. I am your host, Taylor Lyles, your Chief Executive Officer of the Home Builders Association, and we are really excited to bring you this latest episode with Penn Gaines from Payfluence.
Good morning.
Penn, introduce yourself to the world.
Great. Taylor, thanks. I'm Penn Gaines. I'm the president of Payfluence. We are a payroll and tax company. That's what you call us a couple of years ago. Today we call ourselves a human capital management company. So we can help manage employees' life cycle from beginning to end. And so we have a big piece of software that allows us to do it. We can make it as big or small as possible. But at the same time, we do it with a real service edge. So we have great technology, but big service.
Perfect. So ideal client for Payfluence. Let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about our business is if you have an employee, you're a prospect for us. So we have clients that have 2 employees, and we have clients that have 2,000 employees. Our average client size is about 40, and using probably about half of our software as a whole. Our software is what you call roles-based, so I can make it as big or small as we need to. So a person with 2 people get enough, horsepower to run 2 people. Somebody with 2,000 gets that part of it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So it truly is kind of built for that specific client.
One size fits one.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not the normal one size fits all.
No.
If you don't fit in this box, you don't get it, or you're going to pay for it whether you use it or not.
Correct. One size. We believe in that because if you've ever run a payroll, there's something unique about it in every aspect. Either dad's on the payroll and he's doing something a little different, or you've got some owner's wages you want to be handled differently, or any kind of thing like that. So it's important that we dive in, dig in. Payroll should be easy. It should be reoccurring. It should be predictable. It should be like turning on a light switch. But if it's built right, set up right from the beginning, proper questions are asked, it should be the easiest part of your day running a payroll.
Penn, at no point, and we do not currently use Payfluence, which we're migrating to.
We're moving that.
We're moving that direction. But at no point do I view doing payroll with our current provider easy, seamless, and painless.
Right.
At no point.
Right.
There's always a hiccup.
Right.
Always a hiccup. And then you call in and it's a third-party company answering the phones, or they're in a third world country and they're trying to get you an answer and there's a delay.
Right.
How do y'all solve that problem?
Yeah, so you just gave our business model right there. To be honest with you, we saw a need in the marketplace for the ability to deliver businesses, mid-sized businesses in the upstate of South Carolina could use that had great technology, so that they could grow with us. Right, as they grew, we continued to be able to turn on more features, but we had service with it. And so, I try to explain this to my dad of what our service model is. And I said, we answer the phone in 3 rings and we answer emails in 4 hours. And he's like, go ahead. And I'm like, no, that's what we do. He goes, shouldn't you be doing that? And every business should, right? If people are calling, they're calling for a reason, and they need to be handled. We call it, we steal from Ritz-Carlton, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen, right? They need to be handled and handled properly and professionally. But we are available. A lot of our competition is not. To be honest, they're really big. They're great companies, but service is not their first thing. And so you have 800 numbers you're calling into and talking to somebody different every time. You have emails that are going to a region and maybe answered in 48 hours. Again, we answer the phone call with the same person because you have a dedicated point of contact. And we answer emails by the same person very quickly.
I love it.
Yeah.
So service is key.
Service is key.
That's something that we've done in previous podcasts is we're all in a service industry.
Yeah.
Anybody that's tied to the Home Builders Association, there is a level of service industry expectations that the consumer drives as well.
Right.
But, when we can relay that into the providers coming to us, that's huge. The builder is not getting excited about running payroll.
Right.
And if something goes wrong, he's got trades, he's got employees, and a lot of people, let's face it, live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So if they're out of a paycheck,
it's trouble.
Yeah, it's big trouble.
Yeah.
You start to add retention issues because people start to go, oh, well, maybe they don't have the money to pay me, or maybe
100%.
They don't have the cash right now. They're just trying to float it, and then they're trying to get it. So you add that leeriness inside of your business. It's unneeded. So that service aspect and service first side of things is huge for what you deliver. And so just so the people listening know, this isn't your first rodeo.
It's not.
Yeah.
I got gray hair.
Yeah.
Not much of it.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I'm right there with you. I'm losing it on the top.
Right.
I keep threatening everybody I'm going to bick my head, and I keep getting told I'm going to look like I've fought cancer, or I've got some illness, or I've got alopecia or something. Not to knock on anybody that has that. I pray for you. But I'm going to just bick it all off. It's all gone.
Right.
The moment that I start doing a comb over, I got to take it away. But not to get off topic. So not your first rodeo. Payfluence is is it fair to say a Gen 2 concept?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So it's funny, I almost did the same thing with my hair during COVID. And I used the same barbershop on Lawrence Road since I was like 6, right? And so same guys, everything. And they're older guys. They're all Navy. They're all ex-Navy barbers. And then I decided I was just going to shave my head, go that look. And I go there, and they're closed because of COVID. They're just shut down. And so I saw it as a sign I still needed to keep hair for a little bit longer. But yeah. I thought that was the one. It's like, I guess I'm not supposed to do it yet.
You're like, okay, God, I hear you. I hear
you. But nonetheless, so second run at this business,
okay.
Right? Long story short, coming out of college, I worked for a couple of Fortune 250 companies. I thought I made a horrible decision. I was bored. I couldn't find a purpose, couldn't find fulfillment. Didn't really know where I fit or if I did something that ever showed up or anybody even noticed. And not that I need pats on the back, but I've got to feel like I'm contributing, right?
Yeah.
And I got lucky to be put on a small team, a subsidiary of one of the big companies I was working on. And it didn't last long, but they only built 30 of us. And all of a sudden, for the first time, I thought, I found my people. Like, it was great. High energy, just goals, objectives. You knew where you are. You knew where you weren't. And so I leaned into that. And so I was in telecommunications to begin with, but wound up starting a payroll company with another gentleman, David Hudson, who lives here in Greenville.
Okay.
And we loved it. It ran it for 14 years. And learned the business really. We came from telecom, but the business models were similar. You sell, you provision something in software, and you serve. Learning the technical aspects of it took a little while, but we sold all of our friends and family first. They had to go through the pain.
Yeah.
But they couldn't fire us. And so, but after a while we got it going, ran it for 14 years, learned the business really well. And then during COVID, he said, I'm out, and so we decided to sell the company. Sold it to a large company, which I thought went pretty well. Everybody folded into the larger company. Everybody kept their job. I went and worked for the larger company for a year as a payroll HCM company. And that's where, even though what we were doing, we knew service there, and we prided ourselves on service. You saw the difference of the big company and the smaller company. I'd be sitting in executive meetings with the bigger company, and they'd say, hey, our hold time today was just 3 minutes. And everybody would clap. And you'd start shaking, going, 3 rings, not 3 minutes, guys, right? No, not 3 minutes. And then you challenge it, and they go, no, you should see what the other guys are doing. Like, we're beating them. Mm. And they would do the same thing with email, same thing with phone calls. And you learn, they weren't wrong, but their attitude to service was being better than the next big guy, right? And that they were better than they were last year.
Yep.
But they were never going to do what we did. And they weren't going to do it how we did it. And And so it was actually kind of a eureka moment where you're like, I knew service was important, but it's far more than I thought it was.
Yep.
It was a differentiator. And I actually started reading more on it and kind of diving into it more. I know we've talked about, I think we've both read and talked about Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh, great book.
A book on the food industry that is incredible because they talk about food, but it's service why they're number one in the world. Incredible food, but no one's going to remember the food when you leave. They remember the service and how you made them feel.
Yep.
And so we kind of flipped as a team at Payfluence, the analogy of the technology is the food, right? We've got great technology. It stands with anybody in our space, but it's the service that is going to be why people come to us and stay with us. So we built a culture around service, and so we study the QTs and the Chick-fil-A's and the Ritz-Carltons and the restaurants. We look at ourselves more in those lines of business than software or payroll for sure.
That's fantastic. That approach, I think, wins 10 out of 10 times, no matter what.
Yeah.
And if anybody listening on this podcast, if you haven't read Unreasonable Hospitality, please go read it.
Yeah.
It will completely change your entire outlook on what is acceptable and how far should you go. We implemented Unreasonable Hospitality in the association standpoint right around COVID because we were trying to figure out, all right, well, we're not doing events. We're not doing, we don't really have sponsorship income coming in.
Right.
What do I do to maintain and grow this organization during a time of uncertainty?
Right.
So we just started just meeting members where they need to be met.
Yeah.
And whether it was, hey, you need me to go check something on a job site for you? Cool, I got it. You need me to go pull a permit for you? Cool. Sign this paper and I'll go do it for you.
Right.
Like we started going that step beyond. We implemented, let's see, March, second week of March, COVID hit. Third week of March, we started weekly Zoom calls. And these Zoom calls started 20, 30 people. And we would have the mayor, we would have local municipality leaders. Well, we started getting traction on it. And we had the director of DHEC. We had SCDOT. We had the governor. We had the lieutenant governor. We had all these people. And this little concept.
I was available then.
Yeah, I should have been. I should have called you. And we took this concept and kind of what Will was speaking about, and we took it and started implementing it and just pushing content out. And it was members, non-members. I didn't care where you were in the state of South Carolina. We wanted to get information out to you. Whether it was rules for electrical was a big one. You electricians work in pairs most of the time. What are you going to allow as a municipality for them to be on the same job site? So then they came out with the buddy system. You stayed in your quote pods. So all of this started evolving. We got up to almost 1,800 attendees on the Zoom calls from March to July.
That's amazing, yeah.
And then we took this concept and I was like, all right, am I really going to do this? We're full transparency. We're a nonprofit. Like we're a 501c6. We get a lot of our funding from the Home and Garden Show, but we also get a lot of it from sponsorship revenue. So I was like, all right, we're going back with events. So July, again, carrying that unreasonable hospitality mindset. All right, what's too much?
Yep.
We did a outdoor event. We had almost 300 people show up.
Right.
And people were craving it.
Yeah, loving it. Yeah.
And it just started evolving. So July of 2020, we started back with events. Not a single person, thankfully, got COVID until our block party in November. And that was yours truly. And I didn't even get it from the event. That was the worst part. So, but we started applying that. So I say all that to say, if you haven't implemented that in your book, and I love hearing that you've done it, go run to the store, go to Amazon, get the book. It will completely change and transform.
You can borrow or steal something out of that book for your business, regardless of what your business is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Now,
make your business better.
I still want to get up to 11 Madison and go experience it. I keep looking at their wait list. They're like 2.5 years out. I mean, you kind of expected. Number one restaurant in the world for 3 years now, I think. Somebody go fact check me and post in the comments that I'm incorrect on that, but I'm fine with that. Just boost viewership. But I want to go check it out. So that's a great thing. So you've implemented that, and I think that's a perfect area to segue into that topic of culture and how you and your team have created the culture. Because firsthand, I will tell you, your team is incredible.
Thank you.
Like hands down. I mean, they're attentive. They show up to events. They're on top of their emails, like you say. They're responsive. They get it. And sometimes, from my standpoint, just because I get bombarded with emails, I'm like, oh man, I got to answer James. Answer James real quick.
James will definitely pursue you.
Exactly. Yeah. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do too.
I really do appreciate it. But how has Payfluence's culture evolved from the previous company to now, and what have y'all implemented besides unreasonable hospitality that's kind of made it work?
Yeah, I love to talk about culture. It's probably the one thing, if I have a dinner conversation with somebody who's working at all, I'm asking about their company culture and how they're doing it, because I think it's so important. There's a time in my life I thought it was just the rah-rah part. It didn't really matter. I'm completely reversed on that today. I think, with a culture, you can climb hills you never thought you'd get up. You can get out of holes you never thought you could get out of. And it can be a lot of fun. We had a great culture. David Hudson, who I referenced earlier, was an incredible culture leader. And I learned a lot from him and just others around me in the first company. But as far as this one, we had the advantage of being a new start. So we started 4 years ago, and we were able to talk about the culture we wanted to drive. And the first thing I'd say is you have to drive a culture. You're going to get a culture one way or another. And if you just get one, you may not get what you want. Yep. Right? You may get one that's a little upside down or pessimistic or negative. And if you've ever played a team sport, that's going to put the team down. And so we see ourselves, first of all, not as a business, much more as a team. And I was kind of a basketball wannabe growing up, where we like to have a scoreboard, and we keep score for sure. But we encourage, we support. If somebody's down, we help them up. So those are sort of the culture things that we drive from an attitude standpoint, and we hire to it. When we hire, we want people who are smart, people who can work independently, people who can work in a team, but people who fit our culture. So we definitely hire to it. In every company meeting, we start it with a prayer, and we start it with a culture moment. Sometimes it's an episode of The Office we want to watch and just get a laugh. And sometimes it may be a cut from, season 2 of The Bear, watching spoons and the service aspect there. And so there'll be different things, different people will bring things in. But I think a culture is just going to bring a team together. And that's what we try to do constantly, is just bring us together so we're communicating, talking on the same page, know the goal, know the score, know where we're trying to go. That's what we try to do.
So as a leader of your team, what do you think are some of the key ways to keep that company culture? Let's get real for a second. Are you dumping money into marketing but barely seeing any results? Go Digital can help. Using their marketing matrix, they zero in on your target audience and engage them where it matters the most. Go Digital acts as your full-service marketing team, saving you the hassle and cost of building an entire in-house team or trusting random gurus you found on the internet. It is also important to note that they don't just serve home service businesses. They own one. They've been in your shoes. They know what works because they've lived it. Wondering why I know so much about them? It's because I've been a client for them over a year, and I couldn't be happier with the results. So if you're ready to start winning more leads for less, hit the link in the show notes and schedule a free 20-minute consultation today.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest conversation pieces we have. We're about ready to expand another 1,500 square feet of office. And the first people, and people were really excited because we're getting fairly tight now. So we're getting 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
But the question was like, how are we going to keep our culture? Well, it's not like we have 2 offices on different sides of the state. It's not as if we have 2 offices on different floors. We're just expanding 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
But that's the first question you want everyone asking is, I don't want to have people on this side and people on that side and have the 2-sided people, right?
Yep.
Where us and them starts at all. And so again, I think it starts with hiring. I think it talks about continually talking about culture and why it's important. Culture is going to tie back into service. And so that's where we are. But it's I think you have to lead it from the top. I think Clemson having such a great football program, it's led from the top. And that's not a point at me, it's a point to our team. And we're extremely flat. And I think everyone's a leader. So everyone has to be leading culturally. You're either taking air out of the room or you're bringing it in, right?
Yep.
Every single person, I think every person, if you're sitting beside someone and talking negatively or talking positively, you're a leader to some aspect. People are looking to you. And so across the team, it's just an expectation that we're going to carry that banner. We're going to carry that flag of culture.
I love it. So what would a piece of advice be from you on business leaders who have already identified that their culture isn't what they want? What are some ways that you could recommend changing it?
Yeah, I think you can definitely reset. There's no doubt, because a culture will get off at points and you have to reset it a bit. I think it's got to start from the top. But at the same time, if you have a strong team, you can reverse it and hand off part of it that you may not have done well. If you don't like your culture, maybe you're not quite the right guy to run it, right? Or right gal to run it. Find a team within the company of people who you think would be thrilled with that assignment and would engage in it and could drive it. And so you can definitely reset it. You can rethink it yourself and introduce it. But it needs to be more than a banner. It's got to be more than a slogan. It's got to be a heartfelt event.
Yep.
But if it's not your thing, hand it to somebody else who will make it their thing.
Yeah.
It's a company culture. It's not your culture.
So don't get your company culture off of ChatGPT and note to self, go back and change the association's company culture. I'm just kidding. That's something that we have continually evolved over the 8 years that I've been here.
Yeah.
We came into it and it was very closed-minded. It was the Home Builders Association, but at the end of the day, we know that it takes 114 trade partners to put together one house. So I want everybody involved. I want everybody to experience. I mean, you've been to the events.
Yeah, it's great.
They're electric.
Yeah.
And it's all because we keep pushing that envelope. We keep adding opportunities, but I think that the association board has created that culture of we want to include everybody. We want everybody to win. We want members using members. We want new technology being showcased for people that are a large company, or it's a 2-person company like you talked about that y'all serve.
Right.
We want everybody to win. But we also want everybody to know the benefits of the association. So I think the culture is constantly evolved, and we have hit reset a couple times. Mm-hmm. COVID forced us to hit a reset.
Absolutely.
2023, we kind of forced a reset because the association started to steer in a little different direction than our strategic goals or our truly what we want the outcome of the HVA to be. So we hit a reset in 23. I think that there'll probably be a little bit of a reset with it once we move back upstairs.
Right.
The upstairs remodel, we're moving back to 5,000 square feet. I think that it's going to be a huge added benefit to our membership because you as a member are going to have access to it. You've got access to a 6-person conference room, a 12-person conference room, a 30-person boardroom, or a 40-person training room. You have that.
It's a great benefit.
And it's free. Yeah. And I think that it's going to drive more events back to the association and add one more benefit of culture. I guess we could say that.
Yeah.
one more benefit of membership, but also creating that excitement. Oh, I'm gonna go use the HBA office. So I foresee us shifting the association culture just a little bit, but you're right. You can hit reset, and sometimes it's worth it.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you say. With the previous company and the one today of Payfluence, with a growth company, at least, about every 3 years, everything changes. What you did 3 years ago from a process, from a procedure, is the way you deal with 100 clients is different than 500, is different than 1,000. And so even your role within the company, you may have a role as a title, but it's changing about every 3 years. If you're growing, things are changing, fluid all the time. So even though our culture is foremost, it changes too as we grow, because we're not, Jen was talking about our puppy. That puppy changes every day.
Yep.
As you change, your culture is going to evolve. It's not static.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about it. I think a lot of business owners they implement the culture and they implement processes and procedures, but then they're too afraid to change them, even if there's a way to improve. Because we've done it this way, we're going to do it this way, this is how we've done it for years, we don't deviate.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, if they could embrace that mindset and say, you know what, all right, yeah, we did it that way for years, but let's look at it this way.
Right.
I think a lot of builders, a lot of trades would save a lot of headaches. I talked to one guy the other day, and he was telling me he had trouble with invoicing. And he was saying...
It's an important thing to get right.
Slightly. Yeah. Of all things that you do in your business, getting paid is probably the key, because not many of us out here are doing this for free.
Right.
But he was talking about it, and I stopped him and I said, hey, how long have you done it this way? He goes, oh, my daddy did it this way.
Correct.
And I said, mind you, he wasn't even using QuickBooks. So he was hand invoicing everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, how many builders are you working with? He said, about 45. I said, how many invoices are you creating each month? He said, about 200, 250. And I said,
wow.
And his wife's... Builders, trades, realtors. If you're looking for a flooring partner you can trust, look no further. I'm here to tell you about All About Flooring. All About Flooring is a family-owned business with 3 generations of owners that know the flooring business inside and out. They work in residential and commercial projects for both new builds and remodels by providing high-quality customer service and installation for carpet, area rugs, hardwoods, laminate, luxury vinyl, and more. Y'all, they even provide professional carpet, tile, and upholstery cleaning. At All About Flooring, they're more than just a flooring provider. They're your partner in delivering top-tier results that your customers will absolutely love. You can find their website linked in the show notes, or visit their 9,000 square foot showroom at 2111 North Pleasantburg Drive. Now, let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
His wife works with him, and he's got 4 or 5 subs, and he does it all. And I'm sitting there going, do you invoice him or does your wife? He goes, your wife. I said, how's that dinner conversation? He goes, it's pretty aggressive right now. And I said, have you looked into QuickBooks? He said, no, not really a technology guy.
Right.
He doesn't even have a website for his company.
Right.
And I said, well, you should take a look at QuickBooks. We connected him with one of the QuickBooks representatives. QuickBooks has been incredible to local associations by just offering the help, giving us an actual point of contact. Young lady's based in South Carolina. That is their direct point of contact. She only handles the building industry. Like, that is it.
Right.
And I think it's super cool, going back to the service side of things, especially seeing that on a major organization.
Yep, have a point of contact.
Have a point of contact in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me about a week later and goes, Taylor, do you know how easy this is? And I just started laughing. I was like, well, Good luck reconciling the past 15 years. She didn't tell you that part yet, but you know, he took a leap of faith and he was willing to change.
Right.
And yes, he was fearful. I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
You know, it's worked. He's been able to collect, and Lord knows what he's missed.
And save time.
Yeah, and now by taking that leap of faith and hitting reset, he's been able to streamline his process.
Right. Have better dinner with his wife.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully. We can only help so much, Penn. There are some things that go farther than just invoicing. I love it. So, talking about some of the benefits, we touched on the upstairs. What I really want to touch on is the Payfluence HBA payroll benefit that y'all have been so gracious to kind of extend.
Yeah.
For association members, just so y'all know, all HBA of Greenville members receive a 10% discount on Payfluence services, which in margin worlds, that's huge. Like a lot of builders look at it, well, if I could save 2%, 5%, 10%, this is fantastic.
Right.
So there is a program that Payfluence and the HBA have created. Again, 10% savings. James is one of the points of contacts for it. It is on the HBA of Greenville Info Hub page. So if anybody has any questions about it, they can reach out directly to the association. But just some of the core services, I'm looking at the sheet. I mean, they HR and payroll, benefit administration, tax administration, time and labor management and reporting, and then you get support, dedicated implementation representative, dedicated customer service representative. You know, this is great because, again, kind of like my story with the builder, you're saving time and they're saving money.
Yes.
And it's local.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you're not shoving a 401k plan down everybody's throats like previous people did.
Right. No, not at all. And so yeah, Taylor, thank you for helping us put together a product for your association. And again, to break those down into maybe real world sense, we want to save people some money in today's world if we can. That helps a lot. It helps get past the no, and get the head shaking right. If we can save you just a little bit of money, that feels good. We can definitely save people time. We've stayed away from talking about technology, but we have really good technology. We have a highbrow team that puts it together and can do integrations and tie in other technologies that simply will save you time. So we've already talked about we'll save you some money, but we want to save you time really, because that's more important, especially for a bunch of the people who we work with. That's when they really set up. And then things that we can do. Yeah, we can do your payroll and tax. You'd expect that. Tax is a big piece because it can get a small business in trouble. If you pay it the wrong rate or you pay it the wrong time, there will be a penalty, and you will not be notified there is a penalty until it builds to a huge number.
Yep.
And we're continuously monitoring things like that. But our onboarding, we'll do the heavy lifting. We'll bring it on. We'll run transcripts on all your taxes to make sure you're clean and current coming in. We'll keep you clean and current moving forward. But we'll take care of that. Time and attendance is big for a lot of folks.
Yep.
If you have hourly people, they need to be clocking. Because it's like having a film crew filming a football game, right? My old coach would say, "The eye in the sky doesn't lie," right? You clock in, you clock out. There's no ambiguity. We want to pay everybody exactly what we should pay them. Not more, not less. It needs to be correct.
Yep.
Easy way to do it. And you can do it on an app. You can do it on a clock. You can do it with facial recognition, those type of things. With that, with a lot of construction, you want to be able to cost jobs. And so you can also clock in the jobs, which gives you more and more data coming back. We can do expense management on the same app. So you have a guy, and all of a sudden they have to run off to Home Depot to go get one piece of something they need. And they have to use a personal card. Take a picture of the receipt, upload it, and it comes through payroll as a reimbursement, not as a wage. So there's a lot of little things that, they don't have to be top of the mountain aha things, but time and attendance, expense management, maybe paperless onboarding, so we're grabbing W-4 at I-9 right from the beginning. That's digitized. So those type of things, we'll sit down and we'll talk to people. We'll show up. We'll go there. We'll go to somebody's office. It's just like you referenced earlier. We believe sitting shoulder to shoulder with people, especially when you're starting a relationship to meet each other. Zoom's good for a purpose. Email's good for a purpose, but you can't miss meeting somebody on a job site or meeting them at the location, meeting their team, knowing what their skills are, really what their needs are, and working from there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the technology, I know we didn't talk much about it, and I'm glad that you brought that up. That's huge that you can do all that from the app.
Yes.
I mean, that's magical.
It's a big change. The last 10 years, probably the biggest change. At one time, it was about the administrator, the person doing the payroll, all the focus is on them. Today, the focus, at least of our software, is on the employee. Because the administrator is great, but no employee can find their W-2. They can't find their check stub. They can't clock in. They can't do expense management. You can do a performance review. You can take a learning management class. Anything you can do in the software, you can do on the app. And we'll only activate on the app what you need, so it's not busy and those type of things.
Yeah.
But that was pushed by COVID because not everybody had a computer, so not everybody could do things they needed to at work. But almost everybody had a smartphone, so everything got reduced to the smartphone being the common denominator of how everything had to work. And so that makes it a lot easier today. We have people have a smartphone in their pocket, and they know how to use the app.
Yep.
If you talk about technology, people back away, but I can go get an app, and apps are naturally intuitive. You click on a link that says pay, and then your pay stubs will be there.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So it should be easy.
So staying in that technology, I had a builder asking me about this the other day, and I'm going to call him and tell him he needs to reach out to y'all because
Great.
You covered most of what he was asking me. He was trying to figure out how to geofence his job sites so the guys didn't even have to clock in.
Right.
So if they walked on the job site with their cell phone, it clocked them in. The moment they leave, it clocks them out.
Yeah. So we can definitely geofence. So we can put a ring around a building. We still like people to clock in when they're doing that, just for a little bit of proof. But we can also geofence multiple buildings. We can allow the business owner to have control of the geofences, and as they're working each day, turn them on and off as they go. So we have geofences about the size of Texas for some clients, and as small as a parking lot for others. But it's a great. That's always first things people fear is I don't want them clocking in from Chick-fil-A when they're not here yet.
Yeah.
But today's technology, you can tighten it up. You can make it so they can't clock in at all until they get within the geofence. Or you just get a warning that they're outside, and you may want to ask a couple of questions. But you'll get the coordinates of exactly where they are on a Google map for every single clock in and out. It's pretty wild.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the technology is there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to reach out to him and say,
Absolutely.
hey, call James. You saved 10%.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that we haven't talked about?
Things that we haven't talked about, I think we covered the business pretty well and culture as well. Haven't talked about my dog.
10 years old, correct?
10 years old, on the website, Chief Morale Officer. And
what a great name.
She keeps things running. We do have a ping pong table, very competitive tournaments throughout the year we have.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
We'll pretty much take on anybody on a ping pong tournament, company to company. I think we'll stand up pretty well.
We may have to do an HBA Payfluence ping pong tournament.
Bring your own paddle, yeah.
Oh, I will. I will. We get pretty heated at the lake house. Listen.
There's yelling. People will be docile and quiet all day, and you put a ping pong game on, people yelling, screaming, jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one TV got broken one day. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Whoops.
Yeah.
How do I explain that? Listen, I got really animated, and I accidentally hit a TV that's mounted on the wall.
I don't know how it happened.
Well, we'll have to get invited to that one day.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, listen, Penn, I can't thank you enough for coming in, sitting down, chatting with us, telling us about you, your business, and also touching on the member benefits. If y'all have any questions, best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, just call the office, call our cell phone. All of our clients have a cell phone. And James is the best way. James has really gotten embedded with everybody is James Anderson. He's great. And he's been at the events, the golf tournament most recently. Received an email from him yesterday with the upcoming next 5 events we need to hit, those type of things. So we're making plans. So yeah, James is absolutely the best. If not, hit our website, contact us. We'd love to talk to you.
We're trying to work out a deal with James in Millpine.
Yeah. I think
I want to do a HBA event out there.
Yeah, Millpine's great
because I really think that it could showcase more of a luxury side of things.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like we added in the Cliffs.
Yeah. And I love what you guys are doing as far as just creativity of different events, which makes it fun for everybody. There's definitely, looking at the different lists, there's something for everybody, right?
Correct.
From the home show to the clay shooting to the golf to let's just go grab a beer somewhere.
Yep.
There's something for everybody. And that's the inclusion, right?
Yep.
And so that's great. That's why the membership's growing. That's why we want to be part of it. And so we love what you guys are doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Penn, can't thank you enough. Y'all, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to be on the lookout for the next one, and we will see you there. Thanks for listening to the Think Big podcast. If you can do me 2 big favors, if you can subscribe to the podcast to continue getting updates whenever new podcasts drop, and also if you can scroll to the bottom of the page and just give this podcast a review. We want to continue pushing it out to more people, sharing what we're talking about, and educating more people in the building industry. I would also like to say a huge thank you to 2 of our sponsors, All About Flooring and Go Digital. If you're interested in sponsoring the Think Big podcast for 2025, be sure to reach out to the HBA of Greenville today. Thanks.